Check, 1, 2. Welcome back to the CXCD channel from my car. I only record My Little Pony themed videos when none of my family is home, and for the past week and a half, there's been at least one person in the house, so I can't record. I'm not kidding when I say my dad has not left the house for 4 straight days. I don't have a full script today, I only have the Spark Note version because I didn't have time to do one. Make Your Mark Chapter 5 is released, and oh my god, it's actually really good. That video I made a few months ago saying that Chapter 4 was good. No. Chapter 5 is good. Seriously good. Everyone on the team did an amazing job with the animation, with the story, and I think the Make Your Mark team is finally finding their groove. Although, there were, in the terms of the story, a few lampshade moments where they just kind of pull the lampshade. I learned that term from another reviewer, but where they pull a lampshade over a character for the sake of story. But all in all, I think it was really good. And I'd even go as far to say, controversially, Chapter 5 is on par with Friendship is Magic. Which is saying something, because they have a lot to live up to. Although I gave that a glowing review, if you go and watch Make Your Mark Chapter 5 right now, skip Episode 1. I'm being dead serious. Skip it. I don't know what they did with Episode 1, but it is... oh my god. The story just isn't there, and although the animations are actually pretty good, the background of these scenes aren't just empty, they're borderline deserted. It's crazy the fact that they probably didn't even have enough time to finish this. In Episode 1, the only pony models that are on screen are the ones that are actively being used for the story. Like in this hall scene where they're dining with Queen Haven, that's all the models there are. There's nobody else there. But all of the other episodes, par Episode 6, is amazing. Next to A New Generation, Chapter 5 is the best content we have gotten out of G5 since the beginning of G5, aka A New Generation. Now I want to talk about an issue with Generation 5. Something that's been plaguing Generation 5 since the very beginning is time crunch. I'm really hot. I think I'm going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning in this car. I think that time crunch is what every major problem with Generation 5 can be attributed to. It's just they don't have enough time to make this a good series. There's a bug. This feels like a spaceship. Like outside is the bad place. 'Cause I see bugs and stuff flying around. I live in the middle of the woods, so I have to deal with bugs constantly. Is there like an emergency hatch to get out, or am I just stuck in here? You know how like some sedans have like an E latch? I don't think this has that. I've never been this far. I've never sat this far back for this long. I don't know. I think that even as early back as A New Generation, time crunch has been a big deal with this entire thing. And the reason why is I don't think MLP has ever had to deal with time crunch before, like almost ever. I think that compared to 2D, 3D takes an exponential amount of more time to finish. You're contending with an entire new third access, and that's not even it. If you want to make a prop, like let's say the Elements of Harmony, you have a model sheet, and your animators will follow that model sheet, which is fine. And with the way MLP was animated, it was more just like a flash object that they would carry around in scene and animate. It wasn't like an animator had to animate that object individually for every single frame, which did happen sometimes, but I'm just saying not all the time. With 3D animations, in order to make the Elements of Harmony, you would have to send a request to the modeling department, which makes the rough model, who then sends it to the texturing department, who makes the texture, who then sends it to like the UV mapping department, and then the rigging department, and this all goes all the way up to the line of command until you reach the animators, who actually animate with it. To do one thing like that takes so much more time than with, I'm sure Flash animation or 2D animation has its own process, I'm sure, but compared to the way it was in FIM, these people were able to crank out 22 episodes a season. And Make Your Mark Chapter 5 has 6 episodes. So I'm not blaming the animators for this. I'm blaming the people who put the deadlines on. Whether it was Hasbro or E1 themselves, it still sucks. Chapter 1 compared to Chapter 5 is night and day. Because of time crunch, they have acclimated to the deadline. They have lowered the amount of episodes to what, 6 episodes a chapter? And I'm gonna put something very controversial out there. I would rather Make Your Mark switch to 2D animations, like in the style of Tell Your Tale, than continuing on with 3D. Because 3D is obviously really, really hard, and it's taking a lot of effort for them to make 3D animations. Imagine how much more content we could have gotten out of G5 if they just kept with 2D animations. We would have gotten so much more. Since recording, it's been about 2 years since the launch of G5. And FIM, in those 2 years, would have had 2 seasons, each with 22 episodes. We could have had 44 episodes by now. And I'm not saying quantity is better than quality, because what we've gotten with G5 is really, really good. What I'm saying is that the old method of 2D animation worked, and it worked for a reason, and it worked really good. And now this boils down to the hardest thing to talk about, which is the potential cancellation of Make Your Mark. Make Your Mark is animated by a company called E1, and Hasbro bought E1. That's why E1 is making Make Your Mark, is because E1 is now owned by Hasbro. Well, Hasbro sold E1 to Lionsgate for, I think, what, $500 million? And an animator that I mentioned before, Snookums Gal, has said on Discord, at least I think she has, that at E1 Entertainment there are no more Make Your Mark episodes being produced. And they make episodes months in advance. I mean, Chapter 5 was probably done being animated in like freaking June of this year. Maybe even before that. So the fact that they don't have any new episodes being made right now is a little bit concerning. Now, of course, Snookums Gal could just be lying because she's like, what, an employee at E1 and has signed a contract deal to not talk about it, maybe. I think what is more likely is that Hasbro has seen the fact that Tell Your Tale, the 2D animated spin-off, is getting so much more views that they're just gonna outright shut down Make Your Mark. No more Make Your Mark for 2024. And that really sucks. We'll still be getting pony content for Tell Your Tale, but Tell Your Tale is 5-minute snippets, like TikTok-style snippets, which really stinks. Now, it has been confirmed that there are 22-minute episode specials coming out of Tell Your Tale, but those are few and far between. What I want to see is a return to former of My Little Pony, where they go back to the way things were with G4. Am I sweating? I feel like I'm sweating really badly. I want to see Hasbro go back to a return to former. I want to see them go back to Flash animation, or whatever it's called now, Adobe Animation, and I want to see them make higher quality episodes. Because if you put the amount of time it probably took to animate G5 alone, that would be like several seasons worth of FIM of time and effort. And money. Oh my god, I forgot to mention, 3D animation is so expensive. It's super expensive. All the product licenses of Adobe After Effects, licensing for, I don't know, Blender maybe. I don't know what they're using to animate Make Your Mark. Gotta pay all the employees. Super expensive to animate 3D. It's cheaper to animate 2D too. The thing is though, is that I think Make Your Mark is completely dead. If they're to switch Make Your Mark to 2D animation, it would look identical to Tell Your Tale, which then would cause brand confusion. They would either have to rebrand Tell Your Tale to, like, Make Your Mark Shorts, or Make Your Mark Alternative. Or they would have to, what I think is more likely, is dissolve Make Your Mark into Tell Your Tale. And now the 22-minute episodes that were Make Your Mark are now just long-form Tell Your Tale episodes. Or what I think is the most likely out of anything is they're just gonna straight up can Make Your Mark, and we're only gonna get 5-minute episodes, which sucks. E1 is no longer making episodes for Make Your Mark, tells me that, as hopeful as I like to be, Make Your Mark is probably over for a second book, basically. Because why do they call them chapters? Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Why don't you just call them seasons like everybody else? Unless my idea is that this is all one storybook. Book 1 is all Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And Book 2's, if Book 2 ever happens, which I hope it does, would be restarting the chapters, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, you know. Anyway, I've spent 20 minutes talking into a microphone. Sorry if this video is a little shorter than it's supposed to be. As you can tell, I'm literally in a car, so I'm literally sweating. If you look at my shirt, by the way, it looks like clown nipples. I made it myself. I dyed it myself. Sorry if this ended on a little bit of a somber note, as in Make Your Mark is dead and in the ground. But it's just a sad reality. It's a sad truth, and that sucks. That really sucks. Please, if any Hasbro executives are watching this, which they aren't, please, Make Your Mark was just getting good. It was just getting good. Anyways, make sure to subscribe, because I will see you guys later, I guess. I don't know. If Little Shy could have any pony plushie made, what would it be?